Hip-hop, or sort of knowledge of hip-hop culture, started in the 80s in China, but it mainly revolved around breakdancing and popping and locking, and there was a big interest in sort of these new urban dance styles, and a lot of sort of early hip-hop dance crews came out of that into the 90s, and even some of the first MCs, people actually started freestyling in Mandarin, were actually hip-hop dancers first. It wasn't until about 10 years ago, in 2001, 2002, where you've started to first have these hip-hop parties, and they were occurring sort of in the university districts, where people would, play hip-hop, and some people started getting up on the mic. They call freestyling in Chinese called shuochang, and it basically means speaking and singing. The big conflict that is occurring within hip-hop, especially in terms of how hip-hop is perceived in China right now, is that a lot of these sort of Cantonese pop stars or Korean pop stars now do little raps in their routines. And they call that on primetime television rap and hip-hop. And it's completely at odds to what these guys consider themselves the underground in many ways, in terms of a sentiment about hip-hop being all about self-expression and also this improvised freestyling, and trying to move away from the idea that hip-hop is just about some sort of fashion or about making money, but it's actually sort of about a deeper community of people. I mean, there's a big difference between what they put on CDs versus what occurs on stage, especially during a cipher or battles. The CD stuff, they often do address sort of social ills or talk about school and how, they feel like they're just being like processed in a machine, or sort of frustration with teachers, or even frustration with parents, with like older generations. And, some issues which are sort of common throughout urban youth across the world in a way. But in China, it's very novel to be able to address these issues. And then when they're on stage and they're battling, I mean, they're going after each other, they're going after each other's mothers, what clothes they're wearing. I mean, there's a lot of this sort of personal attacks going on. But then you also have some really heartfelt stuff goes down too, where, they're talking about where they're from and why they're on stage, and like what they're trying to connect with an audience and sort of create these sort of like grander narratives within their freestyle. There hasn't been an explicit crackdown on anybody in the hip-hop scene because of their lyrical content. And that's also one of the biggest problems in China with almost any creative scene, is that there is a lot of self-censorship in the first place. I'd say the most hard-hitting lyrics that I've heard have really come from this one group called Yinsar, which is comprised of 3 guys, Meng Guodong, Chen Haoran, and Jia Wei. They're sort of the bad boys, in a way, of Beijing hip-hop right now. Really strong, aggressive hip-hop artists. And although it doesn't sound that hard-hitting, but they've gone after, especially like schools a lot, and sort of the indoctrination of youth in a strange sense. I'm extremely interested sort of across the board in youth culture in China right now. Just, where there's these new niches like coming about, especially in like design, music, art. There is no underlying message that they have, but I feel that all of them are just looking for new modes of self-expression and are looking to vent whatever is going on in their personal lives. The sentiment is definitely there amongst Chinese youth about sort of a dissatisfaction or a mistrust for sort of central authority figures. Sometimes songs have become famous, like the In Beijing song done by Yinsang, which is one of the earliest hip-hop groups in China. If you go to karaoke TV places across Beijing, they almost always have that song.
在北京，走在长安街上，在北京很多漂亮的姑娘，在北京烧香去雍和宫，在北京逛着您家的胡同，在北京去故宫学历史，在北京西单买了一件 T 恤，在北京天安门太大，在北京您不知道了吧？
China remains a very difficult place to create art or create music in many ways. That's been a little painful to see, but right now it's all just about spreading their message and getting awareness for these people. I think are very talented improvisers who are really trying to spread a message about open and free self-expression, and being able to do it, publicly and sort of in exchange of ideas. I think the only direction for hip-hop in China is onwards and upwards. And their ability to connect with urban youth in China is huge. And there is so much more potential for these guys to reach larger audiences.
给我你的声音！ 我又是在这儿看见你，你叫大卫 ，Alright man， 你应该去变魔术，在这儿太浪费。我跟你说，我的词你还是那个题。我又是看见那个小个子跟我在一起，我站着和你蹲着一样高，你知道我在说着，我在跟你说着我的 freestyle， 让他们知道我来自遥远的西安，就像是愚公移山，我把它移到西安，那是我的集团，我有我的习惯，让你看见我。